Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to our masterclass or live class or this live, whatever you want to call it. It's a pleasure being here with you again, sharing our knowledge, sharing a little bit more about how you, a foreign entrepreneur, can succeed in the American market. My name is Diego Sampaio. I'm co-founder at Globalfy. We started Globalfy 10 years ago to help international founders like myself, like yourself, to start and to manage a company in the US. Today, I'm going to be covering 18 steps that I wish I knew when I started my first company in the US 13 years ago. So, I'm original from Brazil, and I had a dream to sell my products, to sell my software into to American clients, and that was early 2000, 2011. And I figured out that the best way to do that was through an American company. And that gave me a lot of knowledge, and that's what I'm here to share with you. What I wish I knew when I was starting my company in the US. But first, I would like to start by introducing you to Globalfy. So Globalfy is an American company. It's based out of Florida that I co-founded 10 years ago with my partner, and to help international founders to set up and operate their companies in the US. So for the past 10 years, we have helped over 10,000 customers from over 100 countries to start their companies through the company formation process, LLCs, corporations. We help them with the business address, register agent, and also with guidance and accounting and tax service. Of course, using a lot of technology, providing them with a clear view of their paths through our platform or portal, and always looking to provide an outstanding customer service in Portuguese, Spanish, and English. So we have around 60 team members today, some of them Portuguese, native Portuguese speakers, others Spanish, native Spanish speakers, and others English native speakers, to support and help entrepreneurs from all over the world into their American journey. And as I was telling you before, I've made a lot of mistakes, and now I'm here to help you to avoid those mistakes. So here you can see a screenshot from the Florida state website, where you can search for the companies in Florida. And here you can see that Delta Card Corp, that was my corporation that I started in, it was registered in January 17th, 2012. And then you can go a few lines down, and you're gonna see that the last event and the date of that event was 2014, and it was a restatement. So what happened? I Googled, I searched, I found an accountant based in the US that could help me to register the company. I didn't know what a LLC was, what a corporation was. So I thought that corporation was actually a cooler name than LLC. That's why I choose Corp. Little I knew about the taxes related to Corp. But okay. And then I registered the company, I started operating it, but nobody told me that I had to do the annual report, renew my company with the state, or how would I file taxes, or when should I file taxes in the US. Remember, that was 13 years ago, right? There was no ChatGPT, and the access to information was not as easy as it is today. So a few years later, when I decided to move to the US, now in 2014, and that's why you have the date here, May 29, 2014, that's when I discovered that the company was dissolved by the state, that was canceled by the state. I was owing taxes to the IRS, and I was in a huge trouble. So I spent a lot of time, a lot of money fixing all those mistakes. And that's where I knew that there was a business opportunity. That was help international founders to start their endeavors in the US. And that's when, a year later, with my wife and my partner, we co-founded Globalfy. So I would like to ask you a favor here. It's free, and it takes less than 5 seconds. Click on the subscribe button that you have here on YouTube. Click on the like button also here on YouTube, and share this content with our friends, with our partners, and with everybody that you know that have a dream and the desire to start a business in the US. That would be really, really helpful, and it's free for you. As always, an important statement here is that this content was prepared exclusively for entrepreneurs who are not US residents nor US citizens. Okay, so this is really important. Although almost all the information fits also who lives in the US and who is American citizen, the content itself was made looking with non-residents and international founders in mind. Okay, so that's just a quick recap here. So let's start. I have 18 steps to cover, and I have only 40 minutes here. So step number 1. This sounds simple, maybe stupid, but it's really, really important to remind you to review your information and save your company information documents in a safe way and in a place where you can easily have access to it. So it's really, really common. A few years after the company was formed, a client get in touch with us asking for their EIN letter or for their articles of formation. And look, without an EIN letter, without the articles of formation, you can open a bank account or you can apply for a lot of different services. So it's really important that first thing, you double check all the details in the company documents, if your name is right, if the address is right, and also that you save the digital format of the documents, because nowadays everything's digital, in a safe place. Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever, iCloud, but that you have your documents saved and you have an easy access for them, because they're gonna be required for everybody, and it's impossible to get a second EIN letter from the IRS. If you lost your EIN letter and you need something to prove that EIN is yours, you're gonna have to call to the IRS, ask them to send a different letter to fax, or wait a few weeks to get it by mail. So again, just save really well the PDF or keep it inside a safe place. Step number 2, use our compliance calendar to identify the key deadlines and requirements for your companies in the US. So it's really, really important that you understand that at the end of the day, you are the responsible for your company in the United States. So you have to know when is the annual report date, so when you have to renew your company with the state, when do you have to file taxes with the IRS or with the State Department of Revenue, if you have to file, when to pay, and so on. So of course you can use our compliance calendar tool that is inside Globalfy's platform, and our customers get access to the platform for free. You can use it to understand what are the requirements for your company. And we will always notify you that it's time or almost time to fulfill that obligation. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to start the process and to make sure that was made in time, okay? Again, state renewal, it's when you have to renew a company every year. It's usually called annual report franchise tax, and it varies state by state. And also the tax filing, the processing your tax return with the IRS. That's usually between March 15 and April 15th for the next fiscal year. So you register your company now in June 2025, you have to do the income tax starting January 2026. Step number 3, make sure your virtual address and the registered agent you are using, make sure that they are reliable and that you have access to a high resolution version of the document that you receive. The EIN letter, your debit card, any official notification will be sent to your virtual address and registered agent address. So it's really important that you can trust who's receiving your documents, and then you also have access in real time to everything in high resolution directly into our portal. So in your case, in Globalfy's platform, you're gonna find it inside the mailroom feature. That's also included in our package. But once you have that, you have real-time access to every mail that was sent to our address, that was safely received, scanned, and is available for you directly into our platform. Again, official documents, bank documents will be sent to the address. So make sure that you can trust in whoever is handling your mail. Then the step number 4 is that your company's initial investments are tax deductible. Seems interesting, right? So remember that in the US, you pay taxes only on your net profits, not in your whole income. So if you made initial investments in your company, like marketing or market research, marketing consulting, even the amount that you paid to register in your company in the US, those are the deductibles expense or deductibles investments that you can use on your first year's income tax. So even if you did those payments in your home country, not under your company's name, under your personal name, for example, you have to keep track of that and also take pictures or scan the documents, the invoices, the receipts, and the contracts for what you pay, because the tax team will be able to use that to deduct those investments from your first year income tax. So it's really, really important that you keep that in a good place. It can be like a Google spreadsheet or an Excel, that's fine. But as you have to have the record and also a picture or a scan from the actual invoice or receipt of what you paid. Then step number 5, apply for your ITIN. So an EIN that we said on the step number 1 is the company's tax ID. Is the tax identification of your company. And ITIN is the individual taxpayer identification number for those that can't have access to a social security number that's only available for American citizens or visa holders with the authorization to work in the US. So again, let's say this is not your case. You can have an access to a social security number. You're gonna have access to an ITIN. That ITIN will be your individual identification number with IRS and with a lot of different compliance places like a bank or payment processors. So although it's not obligated, it's not mandatory that you have an ITIN on the first day of your company, I strongly suggest you that you apply for an ITIN as soon as you can, because that number will be necessary for some of the future steps, like opening a payment processor account, for example. The ITIN process, it's a little bit trickier because it takes up to 90, 100 days to be completed. And there are some documents that have to be mailed from you signing in ink and mailed from your home address to our office in the US, for example, where we're going to finish the preparation, verify the documents, and then submit it to the IRS. IRS doesn't charge anything to the process, but we charge $275 to do the ITIN application on your behalf, which is really, really cheap when you compare with a lot of other companies that are charging almost $500 for the same service. But again, an ITIN is not mandatory, but I strongly encourage you to do that as soon as you can. You can do that along your business formation process, or you can do that as soon as you have all the company documents on hand, okay? Then, the step number 6 is to get a US phone number, a +1, right? So, I brought here a few websites that I personally use or have used in the past, phone2.io or phone.com or even tello.com. Those are online platforms that allows you to get a valid US phone number, just like a phone number that you get if you buy a SIM from AT&T or Verizon, for example. But you can do that from your home country. You have access to that on an app or to an eSIM. And with that phone number, you can use that for bank accounts. You're going to use that for sign up with suppliers, to sell to customers. You can receive text messages, phone calls, or even WhatsApp. In some of those cases, they allow you to use the number on WhatsApp. But those are good tools for international founders that are looking to really establish a presence in the US and maybe require in some steps also in the future. Then step number 7. It seems like simple to just publish a website and an online store. Look, you may tell us that, oh, I don't need that. I'm going to only sell on Amazon, or I have just a direct relationship with my clients. I understand that. But a bank website, will be really, really helpful when you're applying for a bank account, for a payment processor, or even to deal with some suppliers. banking, we always look to your website to understand what is your business. Who are you selling to? Are your customers based in the US? Are they based abroad? So you can't just put on your website in Spanish or Japanese or whatever, Italian, and then hope that the bank will check it. No, you have to have a website that it's in English. That's going to help the bank, the payment processor, your supplier to understand what are you doing and how serious are you about your business. Remember, banking, it's always about risks, right? So you have to manage and to help the bank to see you as the lowest risk as possible. So, I mean, in terms of websites and online stores, of course, Shopify, #1 platform in the US for e-commerce, while you're going to have Wix, GoDaddy, WordPress, eQuid, and a lot of different tools that are that can be used to develop your website. Some of those tools are even for free or cost you less than $5 a month. Of course, you can also use your website, an English version of your website, or you can use no-code options or any tool from anywhere in the world to create a website. But it's important the website has to be in English and it has to be targeting the American market, okay? So publish a website or online store before applying for a bank account. So this is my tip here, number 7. And then, of course, number 8 is about banking. This is one of the main questions we get from clients from all over the world. Can I apply for a business bank account in the US even though I don't live in the country, I don't have a social security number? And the answer is yes, you can do that. There's certainly banks like Mercury, Lily, and Globalfy that they help international founders, or they allow international founders to get access to their services. Those are online banks. They're all free. They don't charge a monthly fee for you to have a bank account there. Some of them, we have a direct connection with them through our platform. So if you go to Globalfy's platform under bank accounts, you can start your application to Mercury and Lily and even Globalfy in a few days directly from the platform. So it's pretty simple to apply for a bank account in the US. It usually takes from a business day to 7 business days to have it approved. And once you have it approved, you're going to have debit card. You can accept and make wire transfers, ACH, and so on. So a full bank platform to manage your operation in the US. Again, I always like to remember about the risks and how you can manage your risks when applying for a bank account to increase your odds to get it approved. So the first thing is submit your application for a bank account and payment processor carefully, paying attention to the details. Do not use a VPN and be transparent about your company's operation. So let's say you live in Italy. When you're applying for the bank account, you're gonna have to send them your passport. And you're gonna also send to the bank your home address in Italy. You don't have to use a VPN to pretend that you're in the US. Use your regular IP address from your connection in your home or in your office in Italy. That way they can match. The person is an Italian citizen, lives in Italy, he has an Italian address, they're using an Italian IP address. I can see on their website that it was made for the American market, that the company started in Italy 20 years ago, they manufacture their products in Italy, they are software developers in Italy, and now they have an American company because they're gonna sell to American customers. See? It's a strong story, right? Lower risk. So, I mean, do your best and be really careful when you're filling all the details about your company and your operation during your bank account application. And then once you have a bank account, it's time to open an account with payment processors. I brought here a few different use cases for bank accounts. For payment processors, depending on what kind of business do you do. So I brought here e-commerce. So look, if you're gonna sell online Shopify, they have their own payment processor. It's called Shopify Payments in a partnership with Stripe. So this means that once you create an account with Shopify, you're gonna have access to Shopify Payments and you can process your payments on Shopify Payments. Then you're gonna have Stripe and PayPal. So if you use a VTEX, Magento, or WooCommerce, you may use, for example, Stripe or PayPal to process your payments. In those cases, let's say PayPal, they will require you to have an ITIN to apply for an account. Stripe, Shopify Payments, they may allow you to register the company, to register the account without an ITIN, but they will really soon require you to submit your ITIN to them. So it's really important, again, that you have followed the process, the steps that I mentioned here, to increase your odds to have your account approved, and then you can run your business as smooth as possible. Then, if you're selling on tech and digital, Stripe, PayPal, and Paddle. Paddle, it's not as well known as Stripe, but it's a really, really good platform for software as a service, so SaaS companies and software and online platforms. And then if you're selling B2B, so business to business, you may get paid by ACH, that is like an online transfer, wire transfer, that again, it's a bank-to-bank transfer, or even by check. You know check on paper that you sign in ink? Yes, it's true. So a lot of large companies in the US, they make payments mostly to ACH wire transfer, which all the banks that I mentioned before accept. So Mercury, Lily, they accept ACH and wire transfers. So you're fine with that. And also with checks. So checks, they're gonna be usually mailed. So they're gonna send by USPS, post office, to your virtual address in the US. That's gonna be received if approved, if authorized by you. It's gonna be open, then it will be scanned in higher resolution. You take a picture of the check and you deposit on your account using your mobile. So you have the PDF picture, submit to the app, and then you deposit your check. So we have a lot of clients that they sell to large merchants like Home Depot, for example, and they get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for their products through check. Some software and technology companies, they're going to do ACH because then the process is 100% automatically, zero or really low fees like 5 cents, 10 cents fee for the transfer. So I mean, there are different needs, but again, Mercury, Relayfy, and Lily, they all support ACH wire transfer and checks, and then you have Stripe, PayPal, Paddle, and Shopify Payments to manage all your payments to credit cards, for example, or debit cards in the US. And again, important, start using your payment processors gradually with low-value transactions that can be easily tracked and verified by the provider. So don't have your Stripe account approved today and tomorrow process a $50,000 payment with a credit card from UK. Look, it's too risky, right, for the payment processor to just approve that payment. So start slow, start doing small transactions, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000 on a payment from cards that are for transactions that you can easily prove that those are valid, like they made a purchase on your Shopify store. You can share the tracking number of the products that you send, or they have a contract with yourself, so you can prove with the contracts, and they've been paying you for a long time in your home country. Now they're paying you in the US, for example, or you have a SaaS platform where you can prove that the transactions are valid, come from the platform. So again, as a non-resident, it's riskier for them to operate with you and support your business. So be careful, be mindful when applying for the bank accounts and using your payment processor, okay? Now let's go to the step number 10. Understand how to issue invoice. It's really interesting because in a lot of countries, it's mandatory that you kind of register each invoice with the government. So the government knows who you're paying for and who you're getting money from. In the US, it doesn't happen. It's actually really, really simple to create an invoice and to send an invoice for your customers. Because when you make a sale, you will have to provide your customers with an invoice. And you can do that invoice in your platform. So if you're a SaaS company, you can have that embedded in your platform and just send them an invoice from your platform. But if it's not your case, you can use your banking platform like Mercury or Lily to create invoices for free. You can use even your payment processor like PayPal or Stripe to create invoices for you. E-commerce platforms like Shopify, Amazon, and even accounting softwares like Xero, QuickBooks, and FreshBooks, they all have invoice platforms. So the process of creating invoice is pretty simple. You're gonna mostly need the customer details and the service that you're delivering or the product that you're selling and also the amount they're paying. So it's pretty simple, and you can do it easily through one of those platforms with zero additional cost, or you can do that even in Excel or in a Google Sheet or in a Word. Although I strongly recommend you that you use one of these features here on the, if that's the case, even Mercury or your banking solution will have some sort of invoice platform that you can use it to. Step number 11, register your trademark in the US. So even if you have a trademark in your home country, it doesn't mean that it's secured and safe in the US. So your brand's not secure and safe in the US. So you're gonna have to register your brand in the US again. The majority of countries from Latin America, North America, and Europe, they're going to be part of the Madrid protocol that allows you to use your home country registration as a proof for the new country, as a proof that the brand already is in use for the new country that you are registering. So, for example, if you have a brand already registered in the UK or in Germany, you can use that registration to speed up your process and to prove that that brand already exists in the US, and then do the process online in the US. The process is done by the USPTO, United States Patent and Trademark Office. It takes around 10 months to be completed, and the cost goes from $500 to $1,500. The actual fees are around $300, $350, something around that. But what's going to really change is who's doing the process for yourself. So if you're doing by yourself, just using some online tools, it may cost you $500. If you hire an attorney, someone to do a more deeper search or help in the process, it may cost you $1,500 or even more. Okay, so the difference here in the cost is mostly based on who's doing the process for yourself. And then let's go to step 12. Sales tax. This is a really common question among our clients. What is sales tax? Who do I charge sales tax from? What is Nexus? So sales tax is a tax that's not paid by the company, but it's collected from the final consumer and remitted to the state, typically apply only for sales of tangible products. So an iPhone. Apple sold this iPhone to Walmart. Walmart didn't pay sales tax when he bought from Apple because he was the reseller. But now Walmart's gonna sell the phone for myself. Walmart will charge me sales tax because I'm the final consumer from the phone. So when I purchase the phone from Walmart, for example, I'm gonna be paying sales tax for Walmart, and Walmart will send that payment to the state. And when you're talking about sales tax, you have to have two different kinds of nexus in mind. The first one is the physical nexus. It's where the company is registered at and where is your inventory is in. So let's say if you have a company in Florida and your fulfillment and your warehouse is in Florida, so your products inside Florida. For all customers in Florida, every time you send them a product, you sell them a product, you're going to have to charge sales tax and remit the sales tax payment for the state of Florida. If you're doing 5 sales a month, 10 sales a month to California, you don't have to do that for California. You're not going to charge sales tax from customers in California, nor pay the state of California. But then comes the economic nexus. Economic nexus means that if you get to some certain thresholds, let's say 200 sales to California in the past 12 months, or $100,000 in sales to California in the past 12 months. So each state has a different law. You have to register a company there to start collecting sales tax for customers from California and pay sales tax in the state also. So it's a little bit tricky, but I mean, there's a lot of softwares that help you to track those thresholds. And once you have our bookkeeping accounting service, we're gonna be more than happy to set up those tools for you and help you towards those process of registering your company to collect sales tax and doing the quarterly payments or monthly payments. Another thing here is that talking about the business that I started in 2012. Around 2014, I registered to collect sales tax, but I didn't know that I had to report it every 3 months. Again, the accountant didn't tell me. So I had to report. You have to report even if you have zero sales. So a few months later, I got a mail from the State Department of Revenue charging me like $5,000 because I was owing them sales tax. I said, I didn't make any sale of tangible products. How come I'm owing the state taxes? And I mean, I had to call them, go to one of their branches, explain what happened, and then they were really kind. They removed the fine, and it was all good. But again, I had to call. It cost me time, cost me money, and so on. So do you a favor. Do yourself a favor. Only register to sales tax when you really need. And if you do, understand if you have to report monthly, quarterly, and do it on time. Or hire someone like Globalfy's accounting service to guide you and do that on your behalf and have peace of mind. And then step 13, it's insurance. This is not that well known, and there's not too many people talking about insurance in the US, but as you may know, US is a country with a lot of different legal calls, right? Legal matters. So, I mean, the majority of the retailers that you're going to sell your products to, like Walmart and Amazon, they require you to have a general liability. And even some of the companies that will hire your software, for example, your SaaS, your platform, they're going to require that you have a general liability. Because general liability insurance covers third-party claims against your business, such as bodily injury, property damage, cyber attacks, hacks, data breach, and so on. So it's really important that you understand that although a general liability insurance is not required, generally not required by the government, some of your clients will require you to have that insurance, and some of them even to list their name in that insurance policy, okay? And then an umbrella insurance is usually a little bit cheaper than a general liability because it actually covers and goes a mile further than the general liability. So let's say general liability insurance will cover up to $2 million, and then you can get an umbrella insurance just to cover an extra $1 million. So this makes the umbrella cheaper than have a higher general liability insurance, for example. The annual cost for insurance is going to go for $2,000 to $5,000 a year, and you can always make those payments monthly too. Okay, again, insurance is something that people doesn't talk that much, but it may be really useful really useful or needed for your company. Then we have step 14, that it's building your contract library. This is something really interesting also. If you have a company in the US, you're gonna need some sort of contracts. It's for sure. At least a good operating agreement, a good bylaws, shareholder agreement, you're gonna need. Although Globalfy provides some of those templates for our customers, there's a tool like Law Depot, Google for it, where you have tons of templates for documents, for different legal documents, I'm sorry. So for example, if you're gonna have US-based employees, you will need an employment agreement. If you're gonna have international contractors, so software developers based in Latin America, you're going to need an independent contractor agreement. And for the business agreements, you're going to need different kinds of agreements. So let's say a more general service, like a terms of service, it's a service agreement. If you're going to be selling, you need to do a sales contract with a buyer or with a client. You're going to have a different model for that. Or if you are purchasing land, purchasing a business, you're going to need a purchase agreement. So it's really important that you at least know where to get your contracts. And the Law Depot, it's a really good place for that. And of course, you can always use ChatGPT. But in my humble opinion, I would start with Law Depot. It's not expensive. You get really good contracts that were vetted by actual real attorneys. So Law Depot, it's a really good alternative for contracts and to create and to build your contract library. And then step 15, if you're gonna hire local employees, they're gonna be W-2 employees, you will need additional registrations and compliance measures. You're gonna need to do an additional registration with the IRS, State Department of Labor. You may have to have a workers' comp insurance, and in some cases, even a disability insurance. There are platforms and payroll solutions like Tres, Gusto, or ADP that they help you to manage your payroll, to manage your employees, your payments, and the tax payments related to those employees. At Globalfy, for accounting and bookkeeping services, we also provide the support for the payroll, and we're going to work along with those tools like Tres, Gusto, or ADP to make sure that all your compliance is that your company is 100% compliant with the state regulation and also with the federal regulations. Okay, and then we come to step 16, is that all companies are eligible to import and export goods and service from day one. So if you get your EIN letter on Monday, on Tuesday you can already receive your first container. So the process of importing and exporting goods in the US are really, really simple. Although there's a lot of discussion around the tariffs, so the tax when importing those products, the process is still the same. It's still really, really simple as if you compare with other countries. No additional registration is necessary for that, but you're gonna have to find a good customs broker that will help you manage all the documents and also helping you to apply for a customs bond. A customs bond like an insurance for customs. It's gonna cost from $100 for a single entry to $500 for multi-entry in the US. But the process is pretty simple. You can get a good customs broker, and then he's gonna help you towards all the process to import and export your products and services from the US. And then we are almost at the end, right? Here comes something that it's really, really tricky. And I mean, look, I don't think that accounting is fun, right? So bookkeeping, accounting, it's not fun, but it's essential. Every company in the world do that, right? So choose an accounting system that fits your needs. It's really, really, really important. Look for features like bank integration. The majority of the platforms they do have. Payment processors integration. And a lot of the tools also provide you with a easy way to manage your payment receipts. Having your books done monthly and well organized will help you a lot once it comes to tax season. So I'm not even getting to the merits of or in the discussion if it's important to do that because you wanna have a previsibility about your business or keep track of your business, your financial numbers during the year. I'm just talking here on a legal matter, right? So have your books ready by the end of the year is really, really important. It's going to make your life way easier when processing your tax returns, okay? Those platforms, like there's a lot of platforms in the US, but most well-known, Xero, QuickBooks, and FreshBooks, they're going to cost anywhere from $15 to $45 a month, and they're going to provide you with a full package of features and services that's going to help you manage your business in the US, from the finance part, inventory part, and accounting part. And of course, with a good accounting, a good bookkeeping, comes also the tax. So it's really important that you understand how tax impact your costs and know exactly when and how to file and pay your tax in the US. So, as I said on the slide number 2, let me go back over there. On the step number 2, I'm sorry. Here. Identify the key deadlines of your company tax obligations. I didn't know it. Paid thousands of dollars for the state because the company was dissolved. Didn't file tax return on time. Paid thousands of dollars in fines and penalties because I was late with my tax. Back then, 2012, 2013, 2014. So look, here, now we come to step 18. Understand your liabilities. Understand when you have to file a tax return. How do you file and how do you pay? Federal and state tax are always applied to your profits, not your revenue. So if in 2024 you had $100,000 in income, zero profits, no income tax to pay. $100,000 in income, $50,000 on profits, pay tax on top of the $50,000. $100,000 incomes, a loss of $50,000, You're gonna carry those $50,000 for the next years, and then for the next years you're gonna save. You're gonna actually deduct part every year of that loss, and then you're gonna pay less tax in the years in the future. So look, the tax system in the US is way easier to manage than a lot of countries. It's a way fair system. Also, then it's a way more fair system than you're gonna find in other countries. So I mean, understand it. Make sure that you have the clear dates in your mind. With Globalfy, with our compliance calendar, we will let you know in advance when it's time to file your tax. We're gonna send you 10, 15, 20 emails to let you know, look, the due date's getting closer. You have to do this, you have to do that. So again, it's gonna be your call is to take an action, and the rest will be taken care by the Globalfy team. Okay, so one common misunderstanding here is that you only pay tax in the US once a year, which is not true. You have to prepay it, or you have to expect to do quarterly payments for your taxes, to every 3 months, and then you're gonna do your full tax return and pay the difference or get reimbursed if you overpaid by the end of the fiscal year. So usually January to April next year. Okay, and again, if you have a company in the US, you have something to do. Annual report, franchise tax, Form 5472, 1120, 1065, 1040, NR, whatever. There's always a number, a form that you have to do. And the penalties for failing to file, like the 5472 forms, can exceed $25,000 a year. So again, pay attention to the tax. Make sure that you understand your requirements, your risks, and you can manage that really, really well. I also invite you to take a look on your YouTube channel, where you're actually watching this video. Here on YouTube channel, we have hundreds of videos in different languages talking about doing business in the US, taxes in the US, how to manage your company, and so on. So if you already have a company, or if you're looking to establish a company, check our videos. They're going to be really, really helpful to navigate how to operate in the US. And here, just to wrap it up, no entrepreneur enjoys managing accounting. So find a reliable partner like Globalfy to handle your day-to-day accounting and tax needs. Look, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I hate accounting. At the end of the day, we actually run an accounting firm, but I don't do my accounting by myself. Of course, we have a team that help us. And actually, the same team that takes care of my tax return, my bookkeeping, is the one that takes care of our clients. We have over 60 team members helping clients from all over the world to manage their business in the US. And we provide that customer service in Portuguese, Spanish, and English, and in 3 different packages. That's gonna be based on the level of service and support that you are looking for. So we're gonna start here with the starter plan, $588 a year. That covers the business registration, the ITIN, the address, the register agent, and so on. Then we're going to have the Essential or Freelancer Essential that starts in $999 a year. That's going to cover everything from starter, plus all your annual requirements, state renewal, income tax for the company, and so on, and even a tax consulting. And then we have the Scale package. Scale package is like the all-in-one package, where we're gonna, our accounting team will help you to navigate the whole US process. It's like that closed service, that you get your WhatsApp number, you have our WhatsApp number, or your accounting manager, you're gonna send a message, hey, look, I don't know how to create an invoice, what should I do? Or, hey, I'm not sure, why do I have to pay this tax? What's going on? The team will help you toward WhatsApp. Or even, look, I have a client here asking me about an invoice, or I got a payment and I don't know how to classify the right away and the system didn't do automatically. How can you help me? I mean, look, our team will be like a WhatsApp, a call, an email away from you. And if you're looking for a good service to start your business, to register your business, or if you already have a company in the US, but now you need someone that really can support your growth in the US, you're in the right place. Just get in touch with our team. They're going to help you to understand the right level of service that you need, so which package is the best package for you. And they will also guide you to the process of registering your business in the US and maintaining your business in the US. Or if you have a company in the US, moving your company, migrating your company to our register agent service, virtual address service, and then manage everything on your behalf. You can get more details on our website, globalfy.com, directly on the email, sales@globalfy.com, on our WhatsApp. Just send a message to WhatsApp. You're going to see how good the sales team is and how fast they're going to answer you and help you to navigate the American market. So I would like to bring here to the final for the final message here for our team, from our team. So look, we have skin in the game, right? We started this business 10 years ago, and we have helped over 10,000 customers from 100 different countries. So we know how to navigate the US market. We know how to handle from the business registration to sales, accounting, tax, address, operations, relationship with partners, with clients, and so on. And here on our YouTube channel, we have hundreds of videos teaching you how to do that. On top of that, we do 2 lives every month. The next one's going to be by the end of this month. We're going to cover everything related to farming, LLC, corporation, taxes, and so on. And another call, it's where we cover strategies, just like this one. And I would like to invite you for next month. We're going to send you an invitation for the call, where we're going to be covered from 0 to sales. So how to do the first sales in the US. I'm going to be sharing my experience and also sharing experience from other customers and partners to tell you how we create a business from scratch in the US and how we start generating revenue and bringing clients from the US, even though you may not be living in the country. Well, my name is Diego Sampaio. Thank you very much for being here with us for the last almost 50 minutes, where I was able to share 18 steps or 18 things that I learned in my journey in the US, and that you should apply in the first 100 days that you have your company in the country. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to talking to you in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.